Well, Bob, August is definitely over. What's happened to the Mariners in September?
They've taken turns in terms of pitching, offense, defense, bullpen having their problems. And I think you saw all of it in the Dodgers series where, they gave up 6 runs a game. Right? The Dodgers scored 6 runs in each of the 3 games. Mariners scored 6 runs in total in 3 games. You didn't get what you were used to out of Kirby. You didn't get what you were used to out of Logan Gilbert. You had the bullpen cough it up on the night that Bryce Miller gave you a nice start, goes 5 1/3, and then ends up going extra innings, but the bullpen comes out and unable to hold it, and then the offense didn't do anything to support. So, listen, you go 4 of 33 with runners in scoring position. I don't care if you're playing the A's or the Royals or the White Sox or any of the other teams that are bad, much less the Dodgers. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. So they're off to a brutal start. I mean, there's no two ways around it. They're 5-11 in September. They've got 13 games to get it figured out.
What do you need to see in this next series against the A's?
I need to see them take advantage of scoring opportunities. I need to see them move runners along. You saw some really bad at-bats in that series. Like, just listen, I can deal with somebody not coming up with a hit. But when you go up there and you're just hacking, and J.P. Crawford called himself out, and he called Julio out. Those were 2 brutal at-bats when you had an opportunity to move runners along. That's all you needed to do, and neither one of them could do it, and they were really poor approaches. So I think they got to get back to what their approach was, their mindset was in September or in August. In Julio's case, he wasn't chasing like we'd seen him earlier in the year. That's the soft stuff off the plate. He was letting that go. And in September, we've seen him get a little bit more anxious, a little bit more aggressive. And it's not just him. I mean, he's having a tremendous year. But it's just, Gino has been struggling. He's been striking out a lot. He strikes out a lot anyway, but he's been striking out even more. I think they need to get back to their philosophy of control the zone and stop growing the zone. That zone is getting so big. They are providing so much real estate for the opposing pitcher out there. They got to get back to their philosophy.
Which team the Mariners are fighting in the race is most vulnerable?
The Rangers. Rangers just feel like, they went through that really horrible skid where the Mariners got red hot and all of a sudden they're the Mariners in first place. Then the Rangers turn it around. They seem very streaky. They feel like they can be had. The Astros, until they lose, they're kind of like Tom Brady. I'm just not going to count them out until I see it. As much as it pains me to say that because I hate them. I think the Rangers are the most vulnerable, and you've got 7 games left with them. You've got an opportunity to dictate your own future. In that final 10-game stretch, 3 with the Astros, 7 with the Rangers. It's all in your hands. It's all in your hands, and they do. And I'm glad I know they've won the season series against the Astros. They've dominated them this year, and to this point, you're losing the series with the Rangers. I still feel better about facing the Rangers. I still feel better about that team. They're very uneven in terms of their performance. So, yeah, I feel like they're I don't want to say easy, but of the group, they're the easier.
Which player getting hot right now would mean the most for the M's?
Well, I mean, you look at Julio's numbers, he's still pretty hot. So somebody outside of him, I think Gino. For me, it's Gino. It's got to be one of your producers. I mean, yeah, you want JP to be hot. He's leading the game off. He's your leadoff hitter. The guy you expect to do damage and drive runs in is Gino Suarez, along with Julio, along with others. But he's the guy that I think is having a down year in terms of his power. You look at his home run totals; they're not where they've been, and he could go a long way. He could carry this team. He could certainly help carry this team if he can get it going. So that would be my guy.
All right, there's a final 10-game gauntlet you talked about against Texas and Houston. How are you feeling?
I don't feel great right now. They didn't play well against the Dodgers. I mean, they didn't give me a reason to go, they're going to be just fine. I have faith that they're going to get it turned around. I believe in Service and his ability to get this team motivated and get them in the right frame of mind. We've seen him do it. We saw him do it all through August. I mean, since the beginning of July through the end of August, they were the best team in baseball. So we've seen it. It's right there. It's not. You're not betting on potential anymore. So I think they'll get it turned around. I think they'll get into the postseason. If you would have asked me before the Dodger series, I would have had a lot more confidence. This doesn't instill a lot of confidence in people seeing what we saw in that series, but I think it starts here. I think going out on the road, especially right now, is probably good for them. I think, having all those people there is great, but it felt like a 55-45 split with Dodger fans there in that building. There's just so much expectation. There's so much on every one of these games because there's just a precious few. So I think, especially starting in Oakland, where there might be 17 people in the stands, I think that's going to help them.